Let me first give honor and thanks to God and to Reverend Dr. Pollard, the faculty and the staff of Louisville Presbyterian Seminary for allowing me to participate in this special day to be with you. I bring greetings, un fuerte abrazo, a strong embrace from the network of the Baptist Peace Fellowship of North America, Bautistas por la Paz, from Canada, Mexico, the United States, and Puerto Rico. I also want to congratulate graduates for your perseverance. The journey has been hard, and especially so with the pandemic, but I know it has been worth it. And of course, I also congratulate the parents, families, partners, and friends that have walked together with you this path. They believed in you in this class, and they became part of your journey. I have done several personal retreats over the beach. I'm sorry, I am in Puerto Rico. And while I enjoy the sun and hear the waves, I see the contrast of the blues of the sky and sea. But it is that unique sensation of the sun that always pull my eyes down to see my footprints in the sand. It always reminds me of the poem with the same title. I believe that we all leave footprints in the hearts of the people we cross paths with, for people have left their footprints in mine. Some marks left, good memories, others have not. Some of them were so deep that they changed my destiny. John 13 is the text that we associate with Holy Week. Despite extensive discussion about the foot washing, there is no scholarly consensus regarding its meaning. It is an uncomfortable text because the action of Jesus summons us in multiple ways. And that is why I chose this text for today. The story begins with the writer sharing Jesus' thoughts. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. John does not give details about the dinner, but describes in detail the washing of the feet. Because the hour has come, Jesus does what he considers most important, express his irrevocable bond with humanity in an act of service. If you knew that you only have hours to live, what would you do? What decisions would you make? What marks would you leave? After watching the bucket list, I did my list and I have done some of the things in the list, but I was curious about what people might do. So I did an internet search. Oh, alas, I got back 25 billion results talking about human creativity. Jesus didn't need that. He knew exactly what to do. He used his short time of life in several core essential acts: share dinner, washing feet, praying. The act of washing the feet of his disciples is difficult for us to understand. Some would like to erase it because it complicates our existence precisely for what it suggests. The Jews wore sandals. Washing the feet was part of the culture, and failing to do so was even a sign of marked hostility, as we read in Luke 7, when the Pharisee withheld this deference to Jesus because secretly he despised him. And we all know how cruel people can become when despising others. Jesus finally gave up on words and acts. Jesus washes the feet of the disciples as any slave would have done. It was the duty of the slave to his master, of the wife to her husband, of the sons or daughters to their father, a gesture of deference and consideration, but framed in the patriarchal system and ranks of power of the culture. The one who is worth the least serves the one who is worth the most. And so again, Jesus breaks the hierarchies of power and worth. He defies the system because knowing that his time was over, he wanted to imprint a mark on the life of those he loved, a footprint not easily erased that will lead them to follow a different path. When my children were young, sometimes they surprised me with a cup of coffee or wanting to pull my feet up for me to rest. And we will say in Spanish, este huevo quiere sal. This egg wants some salt. And then, wait for it. Wait for it. Mommy, can I go out with my friends? The value of your actions is closely related to the motivation of your heart. Jesus, Lord of creation, becomes a servant because he loved deeply. He showed us what worthiness comes not from words, wealth, status, and honors of the world, but from agape love that triggers the divine in our flesh and the best of what makes us human. Washing the feet is not a tender symbol. It is a deeply humbling sacramental event, but also a challenge to our pride, an eternal trait for us to follow. And there are three things that I want to highlight today that this text brought to my heart. One, be present. Jesus washes the feet. I imagine that moment as one of deep awareness and awkward sacred silence. There was no hurry. The hour was near and it didn't matter what might come. Jesus was intensely focused on his disciples, for they were deeply loved. As you prepare to ministering to those resisting the plague of racial injustice, you want to be present. When I asked Chris Walton to know about a bit more about this class, he wrote, and I quote, that you have been able to mindfully and creatively remain in the presence of your families, classmates, and those you minister to. End of quote. He shared with me that this being present is a testament of your commitment to your ministry and service. So as you take what you have learned academically, personally, and professionally, and share the good news amidst unpleasant and sordid realities, there will be many things that will compete for your attention. Our churches and communities navigate a post-COVID world and a racially, ideologically, and socially divided society where we distinguish people according to the gender, rank, power, wealth, knowledge, appearance, and ableness. Nothing could be further away from the being and acting of Jesus. Even when it will be hard to imagine new ways of connecting and being present in this post-COVID world, for what I have heard about this class, you have done so, and I have no doubt that you will find a way. In Philippians, Paul tells us that God emptied himself, humbled himself by becoming human. And this is the key to face the challenges of this time. Be present and not lose your humanity, for the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God will be intensely focusing on you. Second, let go. The Greek word "pithesin," to remove, to put aside, has an association with lowering, giving up life. In Greek writings, it is associated with depositing the bones or ashes of the dead. What a connection. As Jesus puts his cloak aside and kneels before his disciples, he demolishes the image of the God created by religion at the service of the systems. A king, a ruler, a distant deity. Jesus becomes friend. And when at times we might need the image of an enthroned God, this text shows that God's heart is not in that throne. When I say let go, it is not to abandon your responsibilities to yourself, to your family, to your ministry, to those you serve. It is to find balance. Take off everything that weighs you, that chills your compassion, that hardens your heart. What prevents us from kneeling? Who are we trying to impress? Whom do we hate? What do we fear? There will come a time when you will be tempted to abuse authority, to manipulate processes and emotions. You will be tempted to misuse your time, to lie, to defame, steal, mistreat, and judge. Recognizing in ourselves the ideological garments of prejudice, the unhealthy family patterns, or our need for power, recognition, and control requires courage. By doing so, the spirits will open a space of grace to transform your life and give you strength to follow this path. Today, the challenge that you face as religious leaders go beyond discussing with the church board the plans for the digital worship service or its platform or the worship orders. The greatest challenge for the church today is in rescuing the soul of our people, fragile, desperate, sick, isolated, and facing multiple violences like sheep without a shepherd. But also people who dream a different reality and are full of potential to transform this reality together. And for this, you must be light, stripped of what weighs, because earning the truth, the trust, while carrying the pain of those longing for justice is in itself a heavy, heavy load. To grab the basin, the towel, and wash the tired feet, we have to love and love until we're tired. Love and love until it hurts. But this is not the romantic love. It is the love that challenges injustices and protects the victims, that faces sins and says enough. It is the love that encourages and draws the best in us. It is the love that brings different people together. It is the hope amidst the desolation that yearns for peace with justice. Believe me, to do this, you cannot carry any more extra weight. Third, honor yourself. In verse 6, the awkward silence and sacred moment was broken by Peter, who cannot understand the measure of the love that Jesus felt for them. His character, as revealed in the gospel, seems to be inconstant and hot-headed. He follows Jesus, but he also embodies the way of thinking of the dominant religious culture where inequality is legitimized. Peter unconsciously integrated the ideals of the system Jesus challenged in so many ways. And so he says no to Jesus watching his feet. With Peter's reasoning, Jesus should be served. He is the Messiah. He is the Lord. So he is worthy. With Peter's reasoning, Cornelius was not worthy of receiving the Spirit. With this reasoning, the undocumented must return to their places of origin and die. White people will always be better and blacks must resegregate. With this reasoning, our LGBTQ plus brethren are condemned to hell, and women must return to clean, cook, and serve the man. Yes. With this reasoning, some should be kept in bondage, and some should be left to die. Peter does not accept that Jesus lowers himself to the ground because he is struggling to discern what is right. Jesus' humble act of service has cosmic significance because in Jesus, God saw our humanity, and that was worthy of becoming his own. In that kneeling before each of his disciples when washing their feet, because he loved them to the end, Jesus leans before every human being, acknowledging our dignity, our value, our humanness. Praise be to the Lord who restores our lost honor. When someone mistreats us, when someone silences us, when someone discriminates against us, when someone kills us or robs us of the good future of peace, health, housing, and education we deserve. As you imagine how to frame God's future in the midst of a troubled world, I guarantee that at times you will become tired. You will become hopeless. You will ask, where is God? And that's when the overwhelming grace of the Spirit will lift you up. And grace might come with a word, a song, a prayer, a hug, a breeze, a book, a flower, a pet, an action of compassion. God will be there, completely and intensely focused on you, reminding you to honor yourself. We all feel apprehensive for the future. What will the new normal of our ministry look like? What impact can we make in a world that is hurting so much? And these are valid questions, but remember that this world is not a lost cause. Remember that you have all that is needed: yourself, a family, a community, and a God not feeble nor squishy, but determined to let go of everything and walk with you, and if needed, carry you in the path of peace with justice. Do you understand what I have done for you? Jesus said when finished. The feet of these men and women carried their bodies to walk around different paths, but the friendship of Jesus defined their path to take. Those who left footprints in your life led you to this precise moment. Now is your turn to leave your footprints, and I pray that they be life-defining ones for those who cross your path. May the grace of the Lord accompany you at every step of this journey. Amen.